Hey guys, welcome back to the Galorian Show. Today we're going to be discussing basically a year in Star Wars in 2020 and what we expect for 2021. Hope everybody had a great holidays and happy new year.
All right, let's start off on the most heartbreaking part of 2020 Star Wars. Season 7, The Clone Wars. We haven't talked about this yet, so buckle up because
Lots of feelings.
lots of feelings. All right, opinions, comments, concerns.
I'm not going to be too vocal on this part, everyone, because Ruthie has not finished season 7 of the Clone Wars. She's had it spoiled, so I'm fine listening, but I'm going to just sit back and relax.
Enjoy the
Let
show.
the other three, take the lead with this one.
So, I watched all of Clone Wars in like 3 weeks, trying to watch it all so I could watch like the last arc of Clone Wars like when it was coming out. So like that whole season was super like emotionally charged for me because like just like speeding through all of it, like you just get all of that, like this whole like 7 seasons worth of story thrown onto you at once, and it was very emotional. And just obviously knowing what happens, like because you go into season 7, I mean, knowing what happens in Revenge of the Sith and stuff, so you're aware of what's coming, but it did not make it any less painful to watch. Izzy, you have feelings?
Dave Filoni, if you're listening, you broke my heart into a million pieces with Rex crying. You broke my heart, but I will forgive you because the mall hallway scene was probably one of my favorite Maul Clone Wars moments ever because one, I love Maul. Two, it reminded me very much of the Darth Vader Rogue One scene, and it was just no lightsaber. It was just all the Force.
Yeah, I had watched the first 3 seasons of Clone Wars probably like 7 times because I never finished it, and I was like, well, I'll have to start over again. And then coming into it, I watched probably like 4 episodes in the span of the rest like 4 seasons. And then I went into it and I was like, you know what? It is what it is. So I was still like emotionally, like I knew all the characters. I just didn't know, like I knew what happened and like where things were at, but I didn't like watch it all. So I wasn't as affected by it, but I definitely cried when Rex cried. My boy.
My favorite part of season 7, which is like no surprise if you know me, is when Ahsoka like finds Rex's clone chip. And if you know me, you know that's like my favorite part. I literally have I'm one with the Force is with me, like tattooed onto my body. That scene meant a lot to me. It definitely like answered, I guess, like that question that we get from Rebels when we find out that like Rex is still alive, because Rebels, you know, is before Rebels came out before season 7 of Clone Wars. So we're like, okay, Rex survives, but how? And so like this helped answer that question of like Ahsoka is the one who like saves him from Order 66, which is like so emotional because they're literally like siblings. Like they grew up together throughout the Clone Wars, and like getting to see her like save him was so emotional and made me so happy.
Yeah, going into that final episode, I just remember like seeing everyone post about it and like right before it was premiering, and I was just like vibing, having a good time, and everyone was like, I'm not ready for tonight. And I was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, that's cool, have fun. And just I don't think no Clone Wars episode has ever hurt fans more. I cannot remember, like, I guess Revenge of the Sith, but like no movie, Rogue One maybe, but no, like nothing, no scene hurt fans more than that episode. Seeing all the clones turn and having to fight them just to try to escape, and like Rex knowing that he has to like give up friends and family to leave. Oh, so
I think
emotional.
I think what made it so emotional too is like obviously we see, like, this is the second time we've seen Order 66. We see it in the movies, but like once you've watched 7 seasons of Clone Wars, and like Clone Wars does a great job of humanizing the clones and like showing that these aren't, you know, like they're still people. And so like when you watch Revenge of the Sith and you see this like in the movie, you don't have like the same attachment, or well, now you do because you've seen Clone Wars, but like before Clone Wars, you watch the movie and you don't have the same attachment to these clones. They're just clones. They don't really mean anything to you. But then you watch Clone Wars and you see all of these like characters like Rex and Jesse and like all of these people you've come to like love, and then all of a sudden like Order 66, and it like makes it 10 times more like heartbreaking to see it all go down.
It makes it so much more personal too. Like, I mean, that's one thing that I can speak to. Like, I'm totally fine, like, being here for this episode and having this conversation because, like you guys said, like, we know where everything ends up and we pretty much knew it was going to happen. It's just a matter of seeing it all played out. But yeah, I mean, it makes watching Revenge of the Sith now a completely different experience. And it just puts it on a whole new level. Yeah, it's crazy. Their ability to do that, to go back in time and deep dive into something and show us more, and then it makes the content that already exists like so much more impactful.
Props to Dave Filoni, because you know that line in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin is like, General Grievous, you're shorter than I expected? Filoni literally had to avoid Anakin and Grievous meeting for 7 seasons just so that line can stay canon.
Why have I never realized that until you just said that? Wow, Dave Filoni is I have no nothing bad to say about that man.
He's
His
so
attention to detail
I
is
know.
unmatched.
I am so grateful for Clone Wars because I think all of us can like, I mean, obviously like, some of you guys haven't finished it completely and stuff, but getting to see that story of Clone Wars get like expanded on, I think like means a lot to people of our generation, because the prequels were coming out when we were like really young kids. Like that was our Star Wars, because I mean, I wasn't born when the first prequel, when one came out, but I was like 3 when the second one came out, and I was 5 when the third one came out, and like so that's the Star Wars we grew up on, and we were all like 8 when Clone Wars started coming out, and so like this was really like our cup of tea for this, and getting to like see this just like dived into, and getting to see the story finally wrapped up, because yeah, the Clone Wars movie came out in like 2008, and so 12 years later finally having like the closure to that and getting to see it come like intertwined with Revenge of the Sith was so like, oh my god. And like when they got to the part where like Padme's like wearing the same outfit she's wearing in Revenge of the Sith, and like it was so well done, just so well done, that ending arc.
So good. Yeah, I have a small story about Clone Wars. I'll make it short. But basically, I remember when the final season was announced, I was overseas with a group of friends in a hotel lobby when my friend saw the like rumor or whatever that season 7 was coming out in Clone Wars, and he was obsessed with Clone Wars growing up. And I remember he just started like bawling from like happiness, and this is like before like really like fell in love with Star Wars. So this was like this this is like the summer before my senior year of high school, so like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. 3 years ago. And he was like bawling from like how much Clone Wars meant to him and how excited he was. And it just like, it was like that moment that I was like, I need to watch this show, because this is like the fact that it's impacting people so much that they're like crying over another season. It's just like, and I remember seeing everyone like I knew in real life as well as people on Twitter, like everyone was watching Clone Wars that I didn't know were fans of like Clone Wars or Star Wars in general, and just seeing everyone on May the 4th watching Clone Wars, and it was just like, wow. Like it shows just how like important this show meant to so many people.
Because, I mean, just like Kenzie said, like, this is what Gen Z grew up with. This was our Star Wars fairy tale, because, like, even if you're not a diehard Star Wars fan and you don't know much outside of it, like, that was just like a cartoon that you would have on the background, like on Cartoon Network while you're sitting doing homework or after school, or like, I mean, that was just on my TV all the time when I was growing up, especially me, because I had an older brother and all of his friends were obsessed with it. So like all of us growing up, like Clone Wars was just always there. That's like our thing. And I feel like our generation is also like super like possessive of that too. But it's also cool at the same time, like how it spans so many generations and how so many different age groups have such a deep appreciation for this show, and the way that it makes tiny little kids cry and adults cry. I mean, it just touches everybody no matter what demographic they're a part of, and that's so cool.
Little pause. Rose decided to join us today. Rose is here. But anyways, back to Clone Wars. What I think about why our generation loved it so much was because by the time we were like old enough to really like understand Star Wars, like Star Wars was done. Like Lucas was not going to make any more Star Wars, and so this like series was our last like Star Wars content that we ever thought we were going to get. So I feel like so many people like were holding on to this because they were like, this is our first like TV show, but also our last Star Wars thing. So that's why so many people like fell in love with it, and that's like way before Disney was even thought about purchasing it. So that's why I think we're so like attached to it. And so them making the season 7 was kind of like this, like that's why we were so like into it and ready to get emotionally drained. But that's okay. We loved it.
Because Clone Wars used to be, was it on Cartoon Network? Is that where it was first?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Like, weird to think about. I want to bring up like how Clone Wars like matured with the audience that watched it too. Like, if you watch it now, like start to finish, season 1 to 7, like you see it, like you see the animation style change, you see like how they're handling things in the episode change, and like topics just like going from like it being like true, like I mean it's a kid show 100% the whole time, but it goes from being like a kid show to being a show that you can watch with your kids, if that makes sense. Like it's definitely just, you can see it grow with the people who are watching it, and I think I appreciate that a lot because again, like we were what 8, 9 when like it first started coming out, and now like we're all like 18 to 20 and so obviously like we grew, and we want the content we consume to also grow with us.
Yeah, I think what's also really interesting, like rewatching Clone Wars like after season 7 has come out, and just seeing like how in the first few seasons like a clone will die or like a group will die or whatever, but it wasn't like that, like we weren't that attached to them because like it was kind of just like more of this like, yeah, they die, like it's fine, like so we were like, oh yeah, they die, it's fine, like it's just normal. But then as time goes on, you get connected to all these clones and then they die. It was like we're still not recovered, and it's been what 7 years, you know, from certain clones dying. So rewatching it,
can't even finish one of the seasons because she's not prepared for one of the clones to die.
Hey, all I gotta say is I sobbed over 99. I sobbed over Heavy. I sobbed over 99. And yes, I have not finished because, oh baby, I don't want to see him alive.
Unalive.
Unalived.
I will not. I'm rewatching. I am almost done with season 2 of my rewatch, but I promised myself I will watch it this time. No matter how much it hurts, I will.
yeah, 99 and Rex are my favorite. So when 99 died, I cried. The other people, I was like, yeah, I love them, but I was like, 99?
They have to go.
And then Rex didn't even die. He just cried, and I was like, oh. So,
Rex cries, we all cry.
literally.
Kenzie, if Izzy watches that season, you need to watch Rise of Skywalker.
I don't need to do anything. I have only seen Rise of Skywalker one time. And I'm trying to keep it that way.
Yeah, we're, as you can tell, we barely missed the Rise of Skywalker premiere, so we're just gonna skip right past that.
Rise of Skywalker came out December 2019.
Yeah.
Doesn't make the cut for the 2020 review, sorry.
Yeah, sadly. If you guys really want us to talk about it, you can
Buckle up.
you can comment or something.
I'm sure we'll get there one day.
One day we'll get there. But yeah, so we're gonna skip that one. But I also okay, so I started watching Clone Wars with my parents because I was trying to get them to watch it so they could finish it by the time Ahsoka came and Mando. Of course, that didn't happen. I don't know why I thought it was gonna happen, but it's fine. But we were watching it, and like I just like seeing my parents like be able to like connect the dots of like everything that they didn't know about it, and then they're like, this is actually really good, and I'm like, I know, this is why we should finish watching it. So, but it's just like cool seeing how like we all like start connecting the dots, and it makes us love the prequels so much more.
Speaking of parents watching the Clone Wars, so I think during quarantine I started to nag my dad to watch the Clone Wars because as kids we watched the OG Clone Wars, like the 2D version, and people always praised it, so I was like, you gotta watch the Clone Wars. My dad loves consuming anything Star Wars. Like he watches fan movies all the time. But so he goes to watch it and he goes, I can't do it. And I was like, why? And he's like, Ahsoka's annoying. And now, okay, given he was like, sorry, Dad, because I know he's gonna watch this. Now, I told him, because I think that's a lot of people's thoughts. My parents do not like child actors. We don't like children. But yeah, and like he's doing better. I think it's also hard for him. Like I watched an episode, it was quirky. He was getting into some trouble that he should have not been getting himself into. I think the animation style was also very hard for my dad, and that was really I think he's still watching it. He's told me he's skipping all the Padme episodes, so he's saying I'm skipping all the episodes with no plot drive, which I told him to do because I was like, you should skip the ones that like
Honestly,
don't add anything.
I understand the
Yeah.
animation thing. Has anyone ever looked at how they animated Padme?
Okay, I texted you guys one time while I was watching with my parents. And my mom was like, that is not what she looks like. Yeah, I
know.
don't like the animation of Padme.
The animation was one of the reasons it took me a while to get into it. Was I'm not a big animated person in general. Like animated shows just aren't my like thing. I like find it really hard to focus on them. I can't help it. But after like a while, like it's just you start to love the characters, so you have to like you just like put it aside. And I think Ahsoka is one of those characters where like a lot of people, I mean, it's no secret, a lot of people really didn't like Ahsoka at the beginning, especially in the Clone Wars movie. People were not a fan of her after that, and we've had the conversation a little bit about Ashley and that, and how Ashley, you know, had to deal with backlash from that for a long time. But they did such a good job of developing Ahsoka over time and like bringing. Because I mean, honestly, like Ahsoka was a kid when we first meet her, and she's, let's be honest, 12-year-olds are annoying. Like, so let's be honest. Yeah, like when Ahsoka was a kid when we first started. She was young and stuff, but we got to see her like grow up, and by the end of Clone Wars she's what, 16, 17?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's like, yeah, she might have like I like can see why definitely see why people might find her a little annoying at the beginning.
Yeah, well, my dad also doesn't like Anakin, so that's another issue for him.
So basically he just doesn't like all the characters.
What is your dad like?
The originals.
That's
No
definitely
one hates Star Wars more than a Star Wars.
Yeah.
So along the lines with Ahsoka too, I think something that can be important to all of us that we can all agree about is that Ahsoka was the first time we saw a female Jedi like really in the spotlight. Like, I mean, we had seen them in the prequels, like in the big scenes with all the Jedi, but as far as like truly being focused on as a main character, this was the first time we got that. And I think, I mean, like personally, I mean, it meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it meant a lot to all of us as women.
So I have like a pet peeve of people who are like self-centered. And so watching,
It's
I remember
why Dodge hates me.
I don't hate Rose. I don't hate Rose. But I just like have like I just don't like people who are self-centered. I just like, I don't know. Anyways, so watching like the very beginning, like the Clone Wars movie, when she first walks out, I was like, oh my gosh, she's self-centered. But she eases up in the movie, and then in the whole series, like obvious, like she just grows and matures so much, and it's literally how we all were growing up. Like we were all that way. So you can't be mad about it because we were all that way growing up, and they're just reflecting like us as kids. Like this is how we would act if we were a Padawan at that time, you know?
Every single year of someone's adolescence, like from 12 to 17, like those 5-6 years, every single year of your life in that period is so vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Ahsoka is a vastly different person
Yeah.
in each season, but that's just an accurate representation of life.
Yeah.
And she's not necessarily human, but the human experience, you know? We just get to see her grow up, and we got to grow up with her.
Yeah.
And so like I can understand people being turned off by her character in the beginning, but if you still dislike Ahsoka in 2020, you're the minority. You're
Yeah.
certainly the minority.
I mean, I think if we had met Luke Skywalker when he was 12, people would have found him annoying too. But like, I definitely think that we got to see Ahsoka's probably one of the most well-developed characters Star Wars has ever created, because we have so much content of her. Like now we're gonna have even more with her show. I mean, we have her in Clone Wars, we have her in Rebels, we got her in Mando for an episode, so we're definitely getting to see her develop.
Yeah. It's just like even when we see her for the first time in season 7, like just the difference between when we last saw her and when we see her there was just like it's just crazy how much, like how fast she grew and like how we got to see all of that. And I don't know, I just love Ahsoka. She deserves all the love.
Should we move on to
Yeah.
I guess what
And
really comes up
Gallery.
next is in spring,
Rose,
the Mandalorian Gallery series came
yeah.
out.
Rose, did you watch the Gallery?
I didn't,
It's
and
okay.
the reason why is I didn't want because a lot of people talk, like I think Kenzie, you mentioned it one time, you were surprised that Disney was even allowing it to like not ruin the magic. I didn't want the magic ruined for me.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, no, I love watching behind the scenes. I've watched Jurassic World behind the scenes about 1 billion times. I probably have it memorized. But yeah, I just, for that show, I was like, I couldn't bring myself to watch it, you know? It's just like I loved like everything that people posted of like the interactions of like Pedro and like just the cast talking about the episodes and stuff. I really liked it. And just seeing that part, I might watch the second gallery's already come out, right?
I think it's only one episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did come out.
Yeah, I'm debating on whether or not to watch it because I really just don't want that magic ruined for me, you know? And it's just like, you know, sometimes I also just like don't watching documentaries, so we'll see if I actually watch it.
One of my favorite things about Gallery in the very first episode was the round table with all the directors, because we had like 6 different directors or something.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see people with such different creative styles and such different backgrounds collaborate on one unifying project. And I mean, it was just so cool to see what Bryce Dallas Howard would bring to an episode versus what Taika would bring to an episode, because they were so different, but the fact that they were able to keep this like beautiful like continuity like throughout the series, like that's so cool. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I get that. I love behind the scenes stuff, especially when like Pedro was in it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to watch it. But
I wonder why.
I just like, I don't know. I like to see how people interact with each other outside of the screen, you know? And so being able to see the directors interact with each other and the cast interact with each other, and you can also that they really love their job. They really love The Mandalorian. And this was like the first time where I actually got to like my first like interview with Dave Filoni. Like I've watched some of his interviews, but like actually like seeing him talk about like why he did certain things, like why this he did that, or like what his opinion on this was. And it made me like really like, I always knew Dave Filoni like knew everything, but it made me see just how much he loved Star Wars and wanted to make it accurate. And I recommend it for people. You guys should go watch it. It's like it cured my quarantine sadness, so you should watch it.
I feel like especially people who are creatives and like creators
yeah
have appreciations for those series and getting those behind the scenes looks and stuff, and getting to hear those in-depth conversations between the people behind it, like that means a lot to you, and it's so valuable if you're someone who is creating Star Wars related content, if you're writing, if you're making fan films, whatever, like
Yeah.
that stuff is so helpful. I mean, another thing that was really cool to see in gallery, and Mando is awesome. It's like one of the first shows or films ever to use this technology, is the LED
The
light
volume.
stage. Like that is so cool. I mean, like I can't imagine as an actor how helpful that was in helping you develop your character and like helping you orient yourself in the world, because I mean, you really have to give it to these people, and to the people and the, oh my gosh, especially like Natalie and Ewan and Hayden and the prequels and stuff, having to do all of this stuff in a blue room or with green screens and stuff. They have to make up everything in their head, and they have to imagine it, just like stage actors or Broadway actors or something, with very minimal sets. So for the first time, we've, gotten to have characters and actors standing in the world that they're being filmed in. And they're bringing back that technology for Kenobi, I think.
Yeah, so they made like four or five like more volumes, and that's what they're using for the next like Star Wars films, and I think they might be using it for Marvel, I don't know, but like just showing like how like this was like the test of, can this actually be pulled off, and it did, and it looks fantastic. And so this is like the new technology, like this is what we're going to be able to do. And that's what also I loved about the gallery, is because it's so many episodes that, like, say you don't want to listen to the actors talk and you just want to listen to the directors talk, or you just want to talk about the volume, like each episode is a different thing, and so you can skip through it whatever you like and stuff. But I, like, if you are a big fan, I remember like Dave Filoni had this one episode, I forgot which episode it is, it's one of the later episodes, maybe the third to last one, something like that. Anyways, he talks about like the whole story of Star Wars.
That is my favorite episode.
Yes.
So that episode, I remember we were like, a few of us, I don't remember. This was like very early on in the Lady Lorian history. We were like still pretty newly friends back then. But we were pretty excited for that episode, and I definitely think like if you didn't watch Clone Wars and Mandalorian is your first experience with Dave, go watch those, because he is so knowledgeable and loves Star Wars so much. Like he cares about these stories, and he is very passionate about what he's doing, and I think that makes a world of difference when it comes to these movies and these shows.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like he just like he talks about how the story of Anakin like turning isn't like, Padme. Like it began right when Qui-Gon died. Like that was when his future was like determined.
Predetermined.
Yes, when Qui-Gon died. And I love Qui-Gon, so I was like, you tell him, Dave, you tell him. Like, it was just like the way he explains it, and he talks about like how Anakin reacted to each individual thing, and what actually made him make the decision that he did was something that has been going on his whole life. It wasn't just like Padme. Like, that was like the only decision that, and I just love that. It just shows just how much he loves Star Wars.
Qui-Gon series win.
I know.
Never.
I want a Qui-Gon series. Oh, I love him.
I would love that. Okay, one more thing about the directors of Mando in general that I think is so awesome is that they come from so many different backgrounds, and it really shines through in every single different episode. And I just love that Dave and John and Disney reached out to so many people from so many different backgrounds to help work on this project and collaborate on this project, because representation is so important.
Yeah, I definitely Bryce Dallas Howard is like one of my favorite people on this planet.
The queen.
I
Give
love
her
her.
Give her a movie.
Yeah, okay. So
She
if
helped
anyone-
us get Omera.
Yeah, so if anyone has watched Black Mirror, she's in an episode of Black Mirror, and I watched the episode, and it's my favorite episode of Black Mirror ever. It's called Nosedive. If you've never seen Black Mirror, you don't have to see any of it to watch one episode. because it's a single installment series. Go watch the episode, see her acting because she's also an actress. I fell in love with her in the episode. I thought she was amazing. And like I immediately was like stalking her after the episode, like seeing what she was doing. And then when Mando came out and I saw her name on the credits, I was like, oh my gosh, like this woman is incredible. Like, and then the fact she got to come back this season and
Yes. And
she's
the episodes that she directed like introduced so many like powerful female figures in Star Wars. And the
Her-
fact that they let a female director do those episodes specifically, the one with Omara and the one with Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves, like, oh, the girl power. I just
those are like two of my like favorite episodes like of the whole series, and she is so talented, and I hope that Star Wars continues to be in her future because I would love to see what she could do with a movie or something of her own.
she's brilliant.
Kenzie, you're completely ignoring that she was in Jurassic World. Man, I'm really exposing myself right here. I loved her in that. Her acting and her directing, like you can see it, and like she's powerful, and like that. The woman, like she shoots a gun in Jurassic World, but and like Omera is like not a sharpshooter, but like she's a good shooter, and she's like she knows there's powerful women of all like types, and no matter what they look like, there's gonna be a powerful woman in the world.
This is my last thing I'm gonna say. In like the newest like episode of the season 2 of the docuseries, they show her doing her episode. And there's this one part where in the episode, like she's telling that these two actors like what's gonna be happening and stuff, and she's like, okay, you're gonna pay the server for your food, and the guy like goes to like pick up like the cash, like he's gonna be the one doing it, and she like takes the cash from him, and he's like, in my universe the women pay, and I was like, oh.
I love her.
Obviously like not to be like, yeah, but I just thought that was so like savage. Like
She's awesome.
my episode, the women is gonna pay.
No shame. Okay, so I guess the next thing after gallery to touch on would be Mando season 2, if we're going in chronological order of the year. I know that we've been talking about it since we've started the podcast. Our focus has mainly been on breaking the episodes down, but should we just do like a quick overview of our thoughts regarding the season as a whole?
Dodge, would you like to go first? You're vibrating.
Okay, so I loved it. Okay, I just going into this season, I was very nervous. We were all very nervous about like the new characters coming in. And there was definitely points, as you could tell in some of our last episodes, that I was very nervous that things were not going to be going the way that I thought it was going to be going. But I loved it. There's definitely episodes that I liked more than the other ones for different reasons. And I know there's a lot of people that dislike the episodes that I like, and that's okay. You do you. But I love my episodes, and I will hold on to them for dear life. And I just, even though that there were some things that I didn't like in them, I felt so like good about this season. Like this is one of the best season 2s that I've ever seen in like any TV show. And I'm just very grateful that we got what we did get. I wish the episodes were longer because I love it so much, but it is what it is, and I loved it. I loved how it ended. Like I obviously don't love how it ended, but like I love how it ended. And I'm excited for the next season. Anyways, who's next?
So I loved season 2. Once again, the ending I loved, hated at the same time. I loved the character development between Little Green Gremlin and Din. But as much as I loved it, there will be no episode like Chapter 4. And me and Dodger Chapter 4 stands, and Kenzie, we love
me
that.
too. I think we all are.
Yeah, best. Well, Izzy, are you
Izzy,
Chapter 6?
What was that, Izzy?
Izzy, do you like
excuse me,
Chapter 6?
Is this Chapter 4 slander?
Okay, it's always you're a Chapter 4 stan or you're a Chapter 6 stan, and there is no in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love both, but Chapter 4 remains.
Wait, Izzy wants to say what episode?
Chapter 6.
Knew it.
Eater.
And chapter 14, when my husband returns. Well, that is above chapter 6. That is
Yeah.
almighty. I have watched that episode like 4, 6, 8 times now.
I loved Boba Fett. I was really worried about when bringing him in, like when we found out that he was going to be in it, because I don't think we initially knew that he was going to be in it. We just really knew about Ahsoka. But I really, a lot of people were worried that it was going to be this like huge fight, and like obviously they did kind of have like a battle, but like it was more like put your stuff down. No, you put your stuff down. And I really like the way they did Boba and brought him in and not made him like automatically an enemy of Din. But yeah, like as much as I loved season 2, I just maybe in season 3 they can do an episode like chapter 4. Of course, Bryce Dallas Howard has to direct it and no other. Because that episode will always have a special place in my heart.
They do not bring Omero back in season 3. It's over. I will
Listen.
show up to Dave Filoni's house myself.
Din took the helmet off. All bets are off, okay?
All
'Cause-
bets.
I didn't even think about that.
Listen, like that was the thing, was like she tried and he was like, no. And now I'm like, he do it. Go back. for her.
Cottage core Din.
One of the things I loved about season 2 as a whole was, you know, like Mando season 1, I feel like was a really easy way for people that were new to the Star Wars fandom entirely or who had gotten out of touch with Star Wars. It was a really easy gateway to enter back in because, you know, it was a part of the timeline of the original trilogy that a lot of people are super familiar with, but you know, it was its own entity and its own separate thing. And it didn't, you know, we didn't see any characters that were already established in season 1. But now in season 2 that we have, I think season 2 is going to act as like a springboard for a lot of newer fans or fans that have gotten back in touch with, you know, the more recent era of Star Wars. Because after chapter 13, the Ahsoka episode aired on Disney Plus, someone curated a playlist of Clone Wars episodes, and it was like the essential Clone Wars. So I just think there's a bunch of people who have watched this season who are going to be inspired to go back and watch Clone Wars and go back and consume, you know, some Star Wars media that is already out there. I like that the show can act as like a gateway for new fans into the universe.
I loved it because I mean, we all started like our Twitters, like and our Mando Twitters. Like when we started, they were like we knew everyone on Mando Twitter. Like we knew everyone. It was small, it was close. But just seeing like how many people have joined in loving Mando or on TikTok or Instagram and just like how much love it is getting and just how many people like want to like be invested on social media on Star Wars just makes me so happy to see like how far we've grown.
When I was a regular old Star Wars account, mainly focusing on Kylo Ren.
I wonder who.
And then I started watching like Mando, and that's how I met all of these people that we are talking to now.
Let's be honest, it wasn't Mando that brought us together. It's not. That's not who did it. It was a Pedro character. Came out in a recent movie.
Oh my god, yeah, that's
Oh my
that's
gosh.
true.
Everyone
We
go
are.
watch
Oh my
it.
god, wait.
Izzy, how did you feel about season 2?
Okay, before I say that, I wanted to add on to what Ruthie said, but I saw somebody say that like a lot of people like from like they heard from like somebody who works at Disney Plus or something that Rebels, like a lot of people started like watching Rebels, like the statistics for like the amount of people watching Rebels for like Ahsoka went up after her episode came out because people are like, okay, well, where was Ahsoka before this? Like, where did we last see her? And it was in Rebels because in Rebels she has the white lightsabers, she has the hilts that she has the sabers that she has, and I think it's 5 years pre New Hope, and Mando is 9 years after. No, 5 years.
5 or
Five
6 years after Return of the Jedi.
We're talking 10-year difference.
Yes.
Like a lot of people were like, okay, well, what happened? Like, where's Ahsoka? Like, where was she like 10 years prior and stuff like that? And so I saw that. But about Mando, I was really nervous. Like, you can like ask anybody. I was very nervous that the show was not going to be about the Mandalorian once again, because I'm gonna get hate for this, but it is not the Baby Yoda show. I don't like the child. I'm sorry.
And that's how the Lady Lords got canceled.
Thank you for ending our very short run.
Only 9 episodes and we're already done.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's a long run.
It's nice.
My thing is, how is Disney gonna make their money now off of Grogu toys if he isn't in season 3?
I wouldn't worry about it.
I wouldn't worry.
They're still selling Darth Vader stuff. So
I bet he's coming back. I don't think he's coming back like soon, but I think he's coming back by the end of season 3. Kenzie, last but certainly not least. Kenzie, what did you feel about season 2?
So like most of you guys have said, I was super worried because we all fell in love with Mando season 1 for a lot of the same reasons, and like I was like a lot of people outside of the 9 movies, like the 9 main Skywalker saga movies. Like I hadn't really like invested a lot of time into Star Wars outside of that, and I honestly didn't watch The Mandalorian right when it came out because I was like not sure about it at first, and then I was dealing with The Rise of Skywalker. And then I was like, okay, like I need to do something because I kept seeing everyone tweet about The Mandalorian, and I was like, I gotta watch it. I keep seeing all of these things about it. And I watched it and I fell in love, and I fell in love because like I was dealing with my Rise of Skywalker feelings, and I was like, oh my god, this has nothing to do with anything. Perfect. I can watch this and not think about that. And so coming into season 2 and knowing that all of these people were going to be there, because pre-season 2, like coming out, we knew, or Ahsoka wasn't confirmed yet, but we kind of basically knew from all the outlets. Tamara Morrison had been confirmed, and so had Katie, who is Bo-Katan. And so like we knew all of these people were coming, and it was really scary. But I am overall very pleased. I think that they did everything well. Like I was really afraid that like Boba was going to come in and take over, or that Bo-Katan was going to come over and take over, or same with Ahsoka. But like I like that Ahsoka was in 1 episode and then she's going to get her own story, and I like that Bo-Katan was in 2 episodes, but like her being in it makes sense. With the Darksaber story and everything, like that makes a lot of sense. And then I like Boba. I like that Boba like came in and like we see Cobb come in his armor, and like you're like, oh my god, Boba's about to walk in, and then it's not Boba. Just like getting to see him like fight the way that we had heard he would fight in Legends and stuff. I just think it was overall very well like done, and definitely like eased a lot of our fears with that. And I loved the ending. I mean, pain. I miss him. I miss the baby. But I think that the ending made so much sense. And
He's in good hands.
yeah, I think that he'll be taken. Well,
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I do mean
So-
that, yeah, Luke's father did kill children, and then Luke did stand over his nephew with a lightsaber. So
We're not gonna go there. Oh, but
Don't
like what you said
worry.
about Ahsoka's episode and her only being in 1 episode, like I totally agree. And I'm also glad that that episode served a very specific purpose, you know, in Din winning the spear, which becomes a really big part of his artillery and, you know, obviously plays a huge role in the finale and stuff, you know, and it didn't just feel like a screen test for Ahsoka, you know? Like I liked that that episode was very intentionally placed and served a really important purpose.
There's one loss we need to talk about. The gun, his gun, you know, that makes people
Pulse
poof.
rifle.
Yeah, the pulse rifle. I'm so sad that's gone. Like
Yeah,
honestly, I'm still so upset. I was like, it was so
official
cool.
petition to Disney Lucasfilm to have Mando purchase a new one of those.
I know. I almost bought it too because I love it, and I was just gonna, because I didn't have anything, and I want to make a Mando cosplay at one point. But
Mattel is making one. Mattel is making a pulse
I
rifle.
know so many people I know are doing Mando cosplays, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to make one before they.
I wonder if it actually works.
I'll
Bro,
test it
it's
out
plan.
on someone I know.
Someone in my life is making me a Mando helmet fit to my head for my Christmas present.
Someone said that someone I know threatened me. Or I threatened them.
I'm gonna make you a Mando helmet.
They said that they were gonna make a 3D printer or buy a 3D printer, and I was like, oh my god, I would love a Mando cosplay outfit. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'll make you one. So I'm holding that against him for the rest of the
We'll find your knight in shining best card. Your
I'm
day.
trying. I'm trying.
Dodge is trying to be the knight in shining.
I'm
Best.
trying to be the knight. I'm done simping. I'm just gonna be
Liar.
I'll be the first Mando female.
What you can't
cosplayer.
have, you must become.
Exactly.
How
Kenzie, that's
How
not scary
single
at
are
all.
you? I just become Join at
So
that.
true, bestie. So true.
Next thing, 2021, everything's gonna be different. Everything is
Oh
going
my
to be different.
goodness.
Life is gonna be so much better. What Star Wars coming out?
Bad Batch.
Bad
Probably-
Batch,
I think Bad Batch will be the first thing we get in 2021.
which will be October, right?
I don't know. I heard from someone it's going to be spring, but I'm not sure.
Yo,
Someone I don't know, someone on Twitter, but so that could be incorrect. I don't think there's been a confirmed date.
Twitter
That
people are
would
either
be-
correct or they're way off. So
Yeah.
So we're getting it sometime next year, though, for sure.
I
Are we
think
getting any live action next year?
Book of
Boba.
Fett.
Book of Boba Fett in December.
Yeah, so like way at the end of the year. A year
yeah,
from now.
this is also when we last recorded last time. The news, the sad news didn't come out by then. But yeah, so Book of Boba Fett is coming out, and then we don't know when Mando's coming out. It's sometime within 2022. So it's either gonna be like they worded it really weird in Jon Favreau's interview on Good Morning America. We stan him, but it's fine. He said that we don't know if he said right after Boba gets released, Mando comes out like directly afterwards, or that after Boba gets released, Mando starts production or not like post production. I think they said so it would come out like in fall, in like 2 years.
Ugh. That's a long time.
I
I was
know.
hoping it would be like, okay, December, Book of Boba Fett, into January, into Mando. You know, like
So basically, over the next year and a half, if you see the Lady Lorians start to slowly lose their minds,
Yeah.
it's because we tin can need
Need tin can. We need sun reflector.
trash can.
Trash.
but
Yeah.
plenty of helmets in Bad Batch. I'm excited for. I think it's gonna be super awesome to kind of get to see another perspective of clones and these very different clones, and then also knowing that Fennec Shand is gonna be in there too. Queen, love.
this is the year of Fennec Shand.
I know.
She's taking over Star Wars, and
This is her year,
She's slowly taking over every big franchise. I'm here.
as she should.
I'm here for it.
yeah, she's honestly such a queen.
So let's talk about other things about that might come in on 2021. So firstly, Visions, which is going to be a 10-episode short film in the traditional Japanese like anime style. So like what do we think about that?
So Visions is interesting because we don't have much information about it, but what we do know is that it's like gonna be in the Japanese anime style, and it just says celebrating Star Wars. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get to see like characters we already know, or if it's gonna be completely new characters.
I think it would be cool if it's like characters we've seen but don't know a lot about, like I'm so gonna butcher this. Sokka T. She's a Jedi, right?
Oh,
And I like maybe like an episode about her and like, you know, characters we know but we don't know a lot about. I think would be really cool to see. Because then we can learn about them, maybe like some backstory about them or just, you know, their daily lives. It's a vlog. Welcome back to the Jedi Temple.
I don't know. I don't know if like anything has been said about it, but what I think it's gonna be is because they're like short films and there's gonna be 10 of them. I think that they're gonna be like short film, like anime renditions of all of the movies.
I'm looking at like the one concept art that is like the only concept art we have from Investor Day, and
Mhm.
like it doesn't look like anybody we know. So
You know what would be funny is if it was like an anime rendition about the making of Star Wars, so we got to see like Lucas in anime.
Vision of Lucas. Like,
oh my god, Star Wars Visions.
Oh.
It's George Lucas's vision.
Dude, literally, what
Dude.
if like it's an anime about the making of Star Wars? We
I-
know that George loves being in the spotlight.
oh yes,
Oh yes.
I hope maybe it's just like us getting some background on some smaller characters
me too.
like
Yeah.
that we've like seen, like has been introduced. We don't know much about. Like kind of like how Rose was talking
Yeah.
about, like Shakti or like Aelys Kira or like any of like those Jedis that we saw in like the prequels but didn't really get to like know.
Maybe we're going to a new planet. That would be awesome. I love new planets. You know, I'm actually really excited for Visions now.
Yeah.
Even though I have no idea what it's gonna be
I
about.
don't know if it's gonna be in 2021.
Yeah, we don't
Well,
even know that.
Sorry. The it's Wiki
We'll get there.
sorry. It's Wikipedia page says it's scheduled to premiere in 2021. So
Well, something's gonna start filming in 2021, and that is the Obi-Wan series. Now,
Love him.
we won't get to see it until 2022.
yes,
But I mean, obviously people are nosy, so
we're gonna see behind
You
the
want
scenes
baby?
real quick.
Keep Luke out. I know you love Luke, but if Luke pops in and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, I'm ripping his
Josh
head
is gonna
apart.
drop
I'm
kick him.
sorry.
I'm
We
sorry,
have proof
Ruthie.
that Disney put out a casting call for a brunette little girl between the ages of 6 and 10 and a blonde little boy between the ages of 6 and 10, and it lined up with the Kenobi series. Bro, what do you expect?
well, I'm just like
Luke got his Mando spotlight.
where are they gonna like fit that in, because Luke doesn't know him, does he? Like Obi?
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, Obi's gonna probably go to Tatooine, and
Well, that's
He's
where
staring
he
off in the distance.
that's where he is, isn't he? Like that's where we find him in A New Hope.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's living- yeah, I just mean like, but Luke doesn't like know him, so are we just gonna get shots of like Luke playing from afar? Like,
Yeah.
because
I want
it's
him to
not-
see interacting with Leia because yeah, I'm gonna say it. No offense, but Leia is the baddest Skywalker in the galaxy, and that's just a fact.
Leia
No, it is a fact.
Sources, me. It'd be really cool to see Alderaan in the Obi-Wan series because we haven't really seen Alderaan. Like we kind of saw it towards the end of the prequels and stuff, but we really haven't seen that world.
Kath mentioned when we were talking about Investor Day how she wanted to see Darth Vader go and visit Padme's grave.
Yes.
So
would be awesome.
maybe we see her in the distance.
Yeah.
Little Princess Leia looking like, why is that dude walking up to my mom's grave?
Who is that man?
Leia doesn't know that though, does she? She doesn't know that Padme's her
No,
mom.
that's her mom.
I think it has been confirmed. Her parents did tell her about Padme, but probably didn't say, "Oh, that's your mom. She's dead. Your dad killed her."
So, the Book of Boba Fett. I personally think that he's going to start his own guild and like start running like bounty hunter, like Karga is, like, I don't know what his
Yeah.
title is,
Mhm.
but I think it's going to be a combination of that and the possibility of them bringing Mace Windu back.
Ooh.
And because if you remember from Clone Wars, Boba tried to kill Windu multiple times.
Well, yeah.
And he never got his revenge. So what I'm thinking is that this is a perfect way for them, A, to bring back Mace Windu, B, to have Boba get his revenge, and we could also learn more about Boba. Like maybe it'll go back. Maybe we'll finally figure out how he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
I keep seeing people talk about them bringing back Mace Windu, but like Window. I can't
Y'all
It's
stop
need to stop
catching on.
it. No, stop.
Mace Windu. But like, isn't he like dead? Like, didn't he get like thrown out a window?
Let's be honest. We thought Darth,
Maul
yes, was dead.
chopped off, and he He still lived.
Exactly.
Okay, what I think is Samuel L. Jackson coming back as Mace Windu.
Well, no, duh. Who else would do it?
Yeah, but I feel like he's like a Han Solo towards Star Wars. Not as bad. I mean, not Han Solo. Harrison Ford of like, I mean, he's cool, but I just feel like he's like, get over my character. Like, it's done.
Oh,
He would definitely come back and play Mace Windu. That he wants to come back and play Mace Windu.
What?
I don't know how recent it was. It might have been like a few years old, but I was watching it the other day and he literally said, yes, I would come back and play Mace Windu.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like think it would be cool to see that like explored. I just like all of a sudden I had seen a lot of people talking about it, and like we see him. Well, we don't see him die. That's the thing with Star Wars. If you don't see it happen,
They're
questionable,
alive.
but whatever, anything is possible. No one's really dead. I hadn't really like thought about that like possibility. I know we had talked a little bit about the guild last episode or about that, but I'm just excited to see like what him and Fennec are like doing, and like what her role is going to be in all of this, since obviously she's sticking with him, and like it's been confirmed that like she is like a like lead for that show. So I am excited to see like what her role is going to be in all of that.
Probably like his body.
I forgot that Star Wars posted on his birthday and said the party isn't over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Get it together.
Anybody else have any thoughts, predictions, feelings about Boba?
I hope Den makes an appearance.
No.
I think it's kind of inevitable with them being.
I hope he does. I want him to pop in.
If Boba does start a guild, do you think Den will be part of his guild?
I was just gonna say that. I think
No,
he
he's
would.
a ruler of Mandalore.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that part.
Things to
Yeah.
There's two paths for him to
That
go
little
down.
thing.
bro,
Forgot
what
about that
if
one.
they like created a whole new culture and like a whole new set of rules?
It's either he just gives it up, or he's like, you know what? Maybe I am gonna be the ruler of Mandalore just to like piss Bo-Katan off. So,
What do you think about that?
what do you think about that?
I could see him joining forces with Boba. Boba kind of goes his own way, you know?
Yeah, but we wouldn't see that until after season 3 at least,
I don't know.
because we
we'll
have to figure out the Darksaber thing.
Yeah, Darksaber is gonna be what season 3 is probably solving that conflict. So I think that's everything for next year and the near future for Star Wars, and we're all super excited. Really quick before we go, right now on our Instagram and a little bit on our Twitter, we're doing a Meet the Lady Lorian series where you guys get to meet us and know us better. I went last week, so mine's on a highlight. Rose went this week as well, so you can check out her highlight, and then in the coming weeks you'll get to meet Izzy, Dodge, Ruthie, and Kath over the next month or so, and so check those out because we post question box where you can get to ask us questions and get to just like know us a little bit more in depth than you get to see out here on the podcast, and then also in the next few days we'll be posting a question box on our Instagram where you guys can send us ideas for what you want to see us talk about in future podcasts. If you don't have Instagram, feel free to just comment those down below if you're on YouTube, or tweet them to us. We are excited to hear what you guys want to hear from us.
And thank you so much. We've hit over 200 subscribers on YouTube, and thank you so much for your support. We love reading your comments, especially long ones where you go in depth about what we say. We love those ones. Just thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us, our Spotify users, our Apple users. Keep interacting with us. We love that. Thank you so much for everything. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe to whatever you're listening to us on, and may the force be with you.
This is the way. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Happy New Year!